one of you wanted me to talk about this. Oh man, I don't even know what to call it. Okay, so an exhibition, right? Look at this lady's face. She's like, whatever. Look at this guy's face. He's like, what is this I'm watching? She's like, is somebody gonna hit somebody else? I mean, what are we doing here already? You guys, if you listen to these announcers talk about what happened, they're basically saying that this is the last time he's going to fight. And they're saying that they're surprised at Jake Paul. They're glad that he made it through all the rounds. But Jake, Jake, you're like, oh, this is my second fight. I'm like, yeah, Jake, it's your second fight. You got some skill. You're like, oh, this guy he's the best. He's 50-0, and I went up against him, and all this other stuff. Jake, you outweigh this man by 50 pounds. You're 198. Okay, I don't know how much Mayweather. He obviously weighs more now than he's ever did, but you're 98, and you're fighting up against a guy. How old is? I mean, come on. There's a 20-year difference in your age or more. And you're fighting a guy who, yeah, he's number one, but he hasn't fought in 2 years. And Floyd is not a knockout artist. He never has been. He's got 29 knockouts. Okay, fine. But he's not a knockout artist. He just isn't. He never has been. As a matter of fact, this is what was the problem with some of his fights as he got on, because they got boring. And then you found out that, Sugar Shane and, a couple of those other guys, they would make these mistakes and then act like they're apologizing in the middle of the ring, and then Floyd would hit them. They would let their whole guard down. These are seasoned fighters who all their fighting lives has been told one thing: defend yourself at all times. And then all of a sudden they get with Floyd and they don't defend themselves. No, come on, you guys, just look. I understand you guys like sports, but this isn't. I mean, was an exhibition, but you guys, it's not even. Jake Paul's like, he's my second, fight. And this, yada, yada. That's... All right, so some of you were disgusted by, like Francis Ngannou was disgusted by how much these two guys pretty much, like Floyd said, legalized bank robbery. Floyd and Paul altogether 120 million, so they say. And well, that was a split. Well, 20 million went to Jake Paul. MMA fighters are not getting paid like this, and they're getting beat up a lot worse. They're not going up against a guy who they got 50 pounds on and they're 20 years younger. They're going up against real monsters and getting punched in the face, bare knuckle. All right? John Jones style. Getting elbowed into the face. Okay? They're taking a real beating out there. I mean, Francis Ngannou almost knocked Overeem's head completely off. This man's got the strongest punch in MMA ever. Mayweather, he got paid a cool 100 mil. 50 Cent said Mayweather comes out of hiding because the money gets low because he spends it on all that stuff. You see his mansions are just ridiculous. He said when the money gets low, he'll come out and fight. So guess what? In 2 years, he'll come out and fight somebody else in an exhibition. The reason why Mayweather took the fight is because the money was so high. He is a brand, and he's a smart brand. But of course, his time is running out because he's getting older and his fights are getting boring. People are just getting bored with Mayweather. He was boring even before that. I liked Mayweather when, well, I can't say that I liked, but he was more exciting in his earlier years. Yeah, got to learn to invest. I mean, Mayweather says he has a bunch of investments in real estate, and 50 Cent says, show me the investments. You know what Mayweather investment is? Him. And, when he gets old enough to where he can't fight anymore, which is right around the corner. Yeah, what up? It's right around the corner when this guy's had enough of getting hit because this man outweighs you by 50 pounds and he was hitting you. And the announcer said, hey, it gave him a wake up call. You haven't done this in 2 years. And you were getting hit by a guy who outweighs you by 50 pounds. And 20 years younger than you. Okay? That hurt. Listen, I wouldn't get in the ring with Jake Paul. He hit me one time. I'd want to, I mean, the guy can fight. You see what he did to the Gronkowski brothers. But is he a boxer, though? Is he a boxer, though? Is he? To say you survived against Floyd Mayweather is... it has depreciating returns. Now, Jake Paul, if you went in there against Francis Ngannou, different. Even Alistair Overeem, and you survived. I'd be like, Jake freaking Paul. Jake Paul. You fought Francis Ngannou in only boxing? In only boxing? Hell, go. If you fought if you want to go up against him, go fight John Jones. He'll take it. He'll take your $20 million. Go fight John Jones. Go do it. Go do it. Fight John Jones. I would be like, Jake Paul fought John Jones, boxing only. But Mayweather, Mayweather's still a great fighter, but you can tell. When have you ever seen Mayweather do this? When? When? And just let Paul hit him. I can't show the video. I don't own the rights. When have you ever seen Mayweather do that? Never, not once. Have you ever seen Mayweather do that? You haven't. You never seen Mayweather do that. Because Mayweather knows how to slip punches. Just like that. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, the man's got 20 million in fans. All they had to do was contribute $1. Jake Paul is the master at social media. And he is a whole brand. That's what these guys are. These guys are not worth watching anymore when you're serious about a sport. These guys are only worth watching if you want to be entertained. That's all that this is. For those of you who takes the sport seriously, you're going to be disappointed every time. And I stopped taking Mayweather seriously after he fought that other dude from Brooklyn. The real fast guy. And then him and his uncles and all them got out there. After that fight, that was it. Because it was a fight of speed. I didn't really care about the Pacquiao fight because I knew everyone who faced Floyd was going to lose. There's just too much dirt behind this. There's way too much dirt. And, there are so many people getting teething off of Floyd's paychecks. And it's just an industry that I don't know. I don't want to be in. The waters are way too murky to say that something is honest. And just no. I'd rather watch a street brawl. I would. I'd rather watch a street brawl because it's just two people who met on the street, got a beef, and bang, they banged it out. Or bare knuckle fighting. Sometime I watch that, or bum fights, or stuff like that. But this right here is too commercial. Is what it is. That's what these guys are. They're commercial. They get the big bucks. They pay their taxes on it. They make more money than you and I are ever even going to dream about. We don't have the social power that they have, and very few people do. Listen, the best fighters in the world cannot draw as much attention as these two fighters can. You know what this is? These are the kings of social media. And that's what happened. This was not a fight to be even talked about. If you really want to know what this was a social media stunt to be talked about. This should go down into the books in Harvard and every university when it comes to economics. This was an economical feat, is what it was. And if you start breaking down how many people got $1 off of this, you will be pleasantly surprised. And then maybe you can get in on it. But other than that, this was not worth watching. And a lot of people said that it's not worth watching. And if you take the sport seriously, you are not going to want to watch these two whatsoever. You will be disappointed because this is no longer boxing. It's just pure social media entertainment. Two rich guys, very rich guys, getting a lot richer. Of course, they don't keep the whole purse, but they probably keep half of what they made. I mean, a $10 million a day cash. Mayweather, he might keep what, 40%? So that's 40 mil cash. That's not terrible. Of course, his bills are ridiculous, but I mean, the guy gave away he gave away $100,000 watch. And whenever we see excessive spending like this, we already know the end result. You're gonna go broke because that wasn't it. He gave a woman $100,000 watch. It's like, yeah, the media sees you, but if the media isn't paying you for what you just did, you're not getting a return on that $100,000. I don't know how he's going to get a return on that $100,000. But nonetheless, he had a big payday. He had a big night. 40 million. Actually, he got 100 million, but once you take your taxes and whoever else is behind it, all of it, he probably came out 40 million, maybe 35. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys, I just think sports are fixed in a terrible, terrible way. And if you want to see some honest boxing, heck, just, you know, go to World Star Hip Hop and watch. They used to have Fight Comp on there. I don't have it no more, but if you watch Fight Comp, you're going to see some damn good fights. It's your boy Tom 202. God loves you and so do I. Peace.